Does your pursuit of authority destroy your relationships? We've been lied to. The myth of the alpha male, that dominant, aggressive figure, doesn't lead to respect. It leads to fear, isolation, and relationship failure. If you are confusing control with connection and aggression with assertiveness, you are sabotaging the very love you seek. This isn't about being weak. It's about being truly strong. In the next few minutes, we will unpack toxic relationship barriers and provide the practical tools to swap fear-based command for genuine influence and lasting partnership. Stop trying to dominate. Start trying to connect. The pressure on men to perform a certain kind of masculinity often means bringing authoritarianism home, confusing a partner with a subordinate. But authority and authoritarianism are fundamentally different concepts. Let's start with the first problem: confusing control with genuine authority. Many men believe that in a relationship, strength means having the final say or imposing their will. This is the authoritarian relationship model, where commands are given through shouting, harsh words, or even psychological coercion. Sure, this approach might get you immediate compliance, but it creates a foundation built on fear. The real difficulty here is that the man feels compelled to constantly demonstrate his power or status within the relationship. This results in rigidity and a complete refusal to listen or have a real conversation. So, what's the solution? Leadership through love and reflection. The exercise of authority should be about leadership, not authoritarianism. Leadership convinces, authoritarianism forces. A relationship built on leadership awakens love and trust. When you're dealing with your partner, the action you want is achieved through soft and sweet words, command without aggression, and leading by example. Think about it. The result of love and reflection will always be superior to the result of fear and blind obedience. A true partner coordinates with empathy, without aggression, making the relationship feel safe and guided by constructive, shared goals. This leads us to our second big problem: the myth of the aggressive alpha male. The term alpha male has been absorbed into our culture to describe men with dominant traits. Unfortunately, this archetype is now almost always associated with aggressive, egocentric, or even narcissistic behaviors. The internet is flooded with self-proclaimed alpha males who believe they should dominate every single interaction. The difficulty this creates is immense. Men are pressured to internalize the idea that they should never show weakness, guilt, or remorse, and that they must always be in a position of power. This creates an unsustainable and toxic dynamic for any partner. The practical solution is to embrace cooperation and calm confidence. Here's a fun fact. The scientific concept of the alpha male in ethology, where it came from, is outdated. The researchers who originally studied wolves later found that the supposed aggressive leader was simply the parent wolf. According to veteran wolf researcher Rick McIntyre, the main characteristic of an effective alpha is a quiet confidence and security in himself. He's comfortable and has a calming effect on the pack. Now, let's apply that to human relationships. Which group is more likely to thrive? One whose members cooperate, share, and treat each other with less violence, or one where everyone is constantly competing? It's obvious, right? So, embrace the true alpha traits: loyalty, responsibility, and caring for your partner, just like that parent wolf. Being a man is so much greater than just being macho. Problem number 3 is weaponizing communication through criticism and humiliation. An aggressive partner, in an attempt to show command, often resorts to verbal violence and psychological pressure. They might use constant criticism, blame, or even humiliation as tools to maintain control. This creates an environment of fear where the partner is terrified to express themselves authentically. The difficulty here is that this behavior creates situations that are stressful, hurtful, and cause deep emotional and psychological distress. In a professional context, this would be called moral harassment. In a relationship, it's just as damaging. The solution is to practice constructive and assertive dialogue. A true leader, a true partner, adopts assertive communication. This is the ability to communicate your thoughts clearly and confidently, expressing your views calmly and positively, while also considering the perspectives of others. Assertive communication requires you to handle potentially tense situations with control over your own anxiety and with adequate expressiveness. In practice, this means being quick to praise and slow to criticize. And if criticism is absolutely necessary, it must be done discreetly, constructively, and it should always focus on the behavior, not the person. Never associate the problem with your partner's identity. This brings us to our fourth point, the relationship of fear and its hidden costs. When a relationship is governed by coercion and fear, the results are always, without exception, inferior to those that come from love and reflection. A relationship based on fear, manipulation, and intimidation becomes emotionally unstable. It leads to constant conflict, defensive behaviors, and a culture of secrecy. The major difficulty is that your partner becomes emotionally depleted. The relationship suffers from a constant state of negativity and a toxic culture of self-preservation, where each person is just trying to protect themselves from the other. The only way out is to build trust through consistency and value. The foundation of any strong relationship must be trust in constructive, shared purposes. You have to be the one who makes your partner feel safe to express their ideas and their needs, rather than feeling constantly on guard or defensive. True leadership, a true partnership, relies on the other person's willingness to please or be useful, and that willingness is fueled by trust. And how is that trust built? Through consistency between your words and your actions. If you say you value your partner's well-being and the health of your union, you must be the first one to set that example every single day. We're moving beyond just fixing fights. We're talking about creating a culture of sharing, respect, and mutual responsibility in your relationship. This is where the real work begins, and the real rewards are found. Let's start with a problem many of us face: emotional volatility. When stress hits, when things get heated, what's your go-to reaction? For many men, we haven't been given the right tools to manage our own emotions. This leads to reactive, impulsive responses. A simple disagreement can quickly explode into a damaging, hurtful argument. The real difficulty here is that in moments of conflict, we often default to an aggressive, automatic reaction instead of a calm, conscious response. We're on autopilot, and that autopilot is often programmed for battle. So, what's the solution? It's deceptively simple in concept, but powerful in practice. The pause. Learning to pause before, during, and after you communicate is a game changer. That small gap of time allows you to step off the emotional roller coaster. It gives you a moment to adjust your tone, to think about the impact your words will have, and to transform that automatic reaction into a conscious, deliberate response. This is where self-knowledge becomes your superpower. It's about understanding what triggers you, what buttons get pushed, and why. When you know the variables that control your own behavior, you can start to change them. Instead of using pressure or anger to get your way, you can use positive reinforcement and understanding, which will radically improve the quality of your relationship. The goal isn't to suppress your emotions, but to recognize and regulate them, preventing those impulsive outbursts that you almost always regret later. Now let's talk about another destructive pattern: relationship manipulation. This is a tricky one because it often masquerades as something else. A manipulative partner confuses genuine influence with emotional pressure. They might use veiled intimidation or frame their demands as ambitious goals, which really means they expect their partner to make impossible sacrifices. They create a dynamic where love feels conditional, where you have to constantly prove yourself. The problem with this approach is that it poisons the well. It creates deep anxiety in the relationship. Your partner starts walking on eggshells, becomes cautious, and eventually, they go silent. They stop sharing their true thoughts and feelings because it's just not safe anymore. Trust erodes and the connection withers. The antidote to this is to become a nurturing and inspiring partner. True influence doesn't come from intimidation. It comes from integrity. It's about being a person whose words and actions align. You build trust by being consistent and reliable. A genuinely inspiring partner is attentive. They know how to listen, truly listen, without interrupting, without already forming their rebuttal in their head. They foster their partner's autonomy while also providing support and care. This kind of active listening and genuine presence acts as a powerful stress reducer for the both of you. It prevents countless conflicts before they even have a chance to start because you're both operating from a place of mutual respect and understanding. You're not trying to control your partner, you're trying to empower them. This brings us to a major roadblock: the "I don't need to learn" mindset. There's this old, outdated idea that leaders are just born, that some guys just have the natural gift for command, and we often mistakenly apply this same thinking to relationships. A man might assume he just naturally knows how to be a good partner, how to handle disagreements, how to build a life with someone. So he never seeks to improve. He thinks, "This is just who I am." This mindset is a dead end. It completely shuts down personal growth and prevents you from acquiring the crucial social skills you need to navigate the beautiful complexities of a long-term relationship. A partnership is a dynamic, living thing, and if you're not learning and growing, you're falling behind. The practical solution is to start investing in your own social skills training. Think about it. Leadership, and by extension, partnership, isn't some magical, innate quality. It's a collection of specific, trainable skills. Assertiveness isn't something you either have or you don't. It's a competence you can develop. Studies in behavioral analysis have shown, time and time again, that the behaviors that make someone a great leader or a great partner can be learned. This training starts with the basics: learning how to truly listen, how to observe body language and unspoken cues, how to ask good, open-ended questions. From there, you build up to more complex skills like being assertive without being aggressive, respectfully disagreeing, and giving criticism that is constructive, not destructive. It all comes down to commitment, a willingness to engage in continuous learning, and the flexibility to adapt. Your relationship deserves that kind of investment. Finally, let's tackle a problem that can quietly destroy a relationship from the inside: making decisions without empathy. An ineffective partner often makes choices based solely on their own perspective or what benefits them in the short term. They fail to genuinely consider their partner's feelings in the decision-making process. Maybe it's a big decision, like moving, or a small one, like how to spend the weekend. When choices are made without taking the partner's emotional state into account, it sends a clear message: your feelings don't matter. This leads to feelings of disrespect, of being devalued, and over time it causes the foundation of the relationship to crumble. The solution is to harness the power of empathy for mutual gain. Empathy is an essential behavior for any effective partner. It means showing genuine interest and respect for your partner's feelings and perspective. Being empathetic doesn't mean you have to agree with them all the time or always do what they want. It means you take their feelings into serious consideration when you make a choice together. Neuroscience tells us that our brains are literally wired for this with something called mirror neurons, which allow us to see things from another's point of view and understand their intentions. Use this incredible ability to think about the well-being of the group, the two of you. Strive to make choices that bring positive outcomes for both of you. When your partner feels seen, heard, and valued in the decision-making process, the bond between you becomes unbreakable. So, let's bring it all together. The most sustainable, respectful, and effective way to live and love is through assertive partnership. This is about building relationships on a foundation of trust, active listening, and shared responsibility. The truly strong man is not the one who is authoritarian, vain, or rude. The truly strong man has moved past that outdated macho caricature. His purpose is to inspire his partner, to provide the support and tools for them to thrive and be the best version of themselves. This is the challenge I leave you with today. Stop acting and start behaving, like a responsible, coherent man who leads through influence, respect, and love. A relationship ruled by authority is like a lock built only to keep things in, requiring constant force and fear to stay shut. But a relationship built on assertive partnership is like a lock designed to keep things safe. It operates on subtle trust and integrity, making both people feel so secure and respected that they choose to stay, building a connection that is truly solid and long-lasting. If you're ready to transform your relationships and become that source of inspiration and stability, make sure you like this video and share it with another man who needs to hear this message. And I want to know, which of these strategies will you start applying in your relationship today? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content on building a stronger life and stronger relationships.